Me. What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Ash Brown. This is Ash Brown Uncensored. You know, the show where I talk about a little bit of every or anything that just pops into my mind. I'm going to try to do live broadcasts because you guys have been kind of reacting to that a little bit better. So we're just going to roll with that. All right. So I'm going into the top question that I always get. And it's always regardless of industry. It's always regardless of what I am involved in. And it just still tickles me pink because the stereotypes that are out there for Black women, my age range, is that we, have been promiscuous and we've got so many kids and we're on welfare and government assistance and all kind of stuff like that. And we've got multiple babies and multiple baby daddies because, that's just a thing. That's basically what happens to that. So what I always get is, well, how many kids do you have? Like, how many babies? And how many baby daddies? And I was like, you've been watching a lot of, cable television, huh? You've been looking a lot of cable TV to think that that's like in real life. You think that that's for real. Like, they always act like they just assume in their mind, I must have kids. I've got tons of kids. I am just sitting up here on welfare assistance. I am just, oh my gosh, like how many babies? How many baby daddies? It's just, and when it first started to happen to me, like when I worked a corporate job, I worked for the state, I worked a federal job. And I worked on a team of about 15 women, and I was the only woman of color. All the rest of the women were white women. And a lot of them had been there like their whole lives. Like they had like started there at like 15 and now they're like 62. And so that's all they know. That's all their life. They probably met customers there. Like they probably met their husband at work or some type of stuff like that. And so he's probably in the system as well. And they started having babies. But everything revolved around their life and this particular federal job. So when I came on the scene, they're all looking like, okay, what's her story? What's her deal? We got to figure her out. And I remember one afternoon, they kind of cornered me and tried to like act slick about it and was like, oh, yeah. So how many kids do you have? Yeah. How many kids do you have? I was like, none. And you should have seen like the sheer shock that came across their face. Like, none. She doesn't have any kids. Oh my gosh. Like, are you sure? Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure if like a little person like walked out of my hoo-ha and came into the world, I would know. I'm fairly confident I would know that much about my body. Who's to say? Who's to say? Oh my gosh, yeah. So they asked that, and then out of all those 15 women, I was 16. I was the only one with a college degree. Ooh, you talking about hate? Ooh, you talking about hate? They absolutely loathed that about me because my first week that I was there was a senior staffer that had found out, I guess through my paperwork, maybe she actually looked through my resume and stuff and saw that I actually had a bachelor's degree in communications as a science. And she pulled me to the side. She was like, hey, Ash, I saw that you have a degree. I said, yes, Columbus State University. Thank you very much. Class of 2006. Yes. And she was like, well, that allots you to a raise. And I was like, really? I was like, this is my first day, darling. Please put the raise on the next check. Thank you. I would really appreciate the check with the raise on it. And so the other women overheard the conversation. And so I got back to my desk and, was doing whatever. And they were like, oh, you went to college? Yes, darlings. I have a bachelor's degree. And what degree do you have? And, yeah, you could cut that tension with a knife. They hated the shit out of me. They absolutely loathed me. But the part of it that really becomes even more comical for me is that not once, ever, at any point, did any of them ask me if I was married. Because it's just the automatic stereotype, Black woman, promiscuous, multiple kids, looking for a handout type of situation. And I was not raised like that. I was not raised like that. The women in my family, my mother, my grandmother, my godmother, my aunts and stuff, like, well, like I say, I don't say my aunts, but some of them, they get the side eye. We're not gonna claim that. We're not gonna claim that. But the women that really helped to introduce goodness and positivity into my life were not about that type of life. And so they made sure that I didn't believe that, and I knew right from wrong and the right type of life that I should actually be living. And so I credit those women that are all up above and they're watching over me. My Donna Teresa, my Grandma Lou, my godmother, Aunt Jem. It's just, it's crazy because now it's like, as time goes on, you see what they were planting inside of you. And I'm just so thankful that I got to know all three of those women so well on this earth. And I know that they're moving some things around for me. It just hurts sometimes to not share my joy and a lot of the accomplishments that I've been able to actually see through with them, because it's stuff that we all talked about. It's a lot of stuff is stuff that we talked about, me being a flight attendant. That was something that me and my mom, we would discuss in depth about, and how she was going to get her benefits. And sometimes it's just hard. It's just hard. But people just should not assume things about people just because of someone's race, just because of someone's appearance. Don't assume that you know that person. Don't assume that you know their story, because I will put all of it on. You have no idea what that person has been through. And that's basically that. So that's my little random thought for the day. That's my random thought. And I just want to say that I love you guys. I thank you so very much. The Ash Said It Daily podcast show continues to grow, and that is all in account of you guys. So I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love y'all. Love y'all. Love y'all. And until my next random ass thought, I'll holler at y'all later. Deuces.